Hi everyone, my name is Chandra Deal and you are tuning into my webinar, 5 Tips for Moms to Achieve Goals. This webinar is designed for moms, caregivers, guardians, and whoever is dealing with family or raising children with hopes to pursue some personal things of their own. So hopefully this webinar will be great encouragement and motivation to help you pursue some of your goals that you have on your list. So I'm going to share with you my presentation so that you can see the slides and follow along with some of the concepts I'll be sharing. So this webinar is basically tips for moms to achieve goals, helping moms transition into a goal-oriented lifestyle, curated by myself, Chandra, sponsored by my company, Lucid Brand Media, for PR class at Full Sail University. So I'm going to start off with the quote saying, "The meaning of life is to give life meaning." With that said, what does your life mean? What have you done to give your life purpose? What have you done to make your life meaningful, not only to yourself, but others around you? So this quote is particularly important because it's the foundation of understanding what it means to have a fulfilled life. To give a little background on myself, I am a single mother of 2 children. I have 2 boys, a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old. And I pretty much, throughout the time of raising them, accomplished, well, it will be 3 degrees. I received my first degree, which is a business administration, bachelor's, from Temple University in 2008. I think I might have had my first son. He might have been a year old by the time I graduated. And by the time I graduated Temple, I was on my 2nd child. So I did accomplish that. Went to Full Sail University in 2008. Well, actually got my degree in 2011 for entertainment business, master's in entertainment business. And now I'm on my 3rd degree, which is my master's in public relations at Full Sail University as well. Before I even thought about accomplishing the things that I've accomplished, I was a mom, just trying to figure out life and trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to do. Did I just want to be a stay-at-home mom, just raising kids, or did I really want to find something more meaningful with my life and trying to make it more entertaining rather than just sitting home all day? So that's when I kind of started to go back to school and indulge in education. But one of the important things that I did after I got my degree was I did an internship. So I went to California, did an internship at Universal Music Group in 2011. And from there, I went to New York and did an internship at the Brittle Agency, which is a very prestigious public relations agency in New York. And after accomplishing all those and working with many, many celebrities, I was stuck in a jam where, I found it hard to travel being a mom. I found it hard to tell my boss that I had children because I didn't want them to feel like I was incompetent or that they would be the reason why I wouldn't be able to show up to certain events or be able to be as productive. So I always kept it a secret, but it was definitely a hindrance when it came down to time to travel. So I came back to Philadelphia, started my own PR company in 2012, Lucid Brand Media, and I began to do the things that I saw my mentors do. I observed the way they moved. I observed the way they talked to clients. I've observed everything that they did, and I took it back and started my own company. So I just wanted to give you a little background that you can still be a parent and pursue some of the things that you want to do, such as going back to school, starting a business, or even just getting a job. It's possible. So on the agenda, helping moms transition into a goal-oriented lifestyle, I will discuss what is a fulfilled life, how do you find purpose, discuss the 5 S principles of success, and then I'll open up the floor for questions. Someone told that to me and I've never forgotten it. Excuses are monuments of nothing. They build bridges to nowhere. Use these tools of encompassing become anything but nothing at all. And I'm not sure who the author is, but the objective of this webinar is to refocus your life, priorities, and goals using the 5S principles of success. So first, you want to know, what is a fulfilled life? A fulfilled life takes pleasure in constantly pursuing your purpose and your desires. You have found the balance in replacing what seems impossible with the evidence of things accomplished. You are basically full of your life and the pleasures within. How do you find purpose? In everything, whether it's for self-pleasure or for happiness of others, find that niche thing that brings you joy and motivates you to live a fulfilled life. Hopefully from viewing this webinar, moms, single moms, or any people that can utilize these goals in any aspect of life, that you strengthen your commitment to self-progression, gain valuable strategies to maintain stress, develop a personal plan of action using the 5S principles of success, and then finally, make your dreams a reality. So the very first principle of success is stop making excuses. You cannot move forward. You cannot make goals. You cannot plan if you always have a reason why it can't be done. Fulfilled life is based on doing things that seem impossible and making it happen. So you cannot have a fulfilled life making excuses. I've had many people tell me that they're too old to, start school, or they don't have time to start a business. They don't have help with things, or with help with the children. They don't know what to do. Oh, they don't have a car. They can't travel. I've heard a lot of excuses in my day-to-day encounters with people. And, in the back of my head, as a person that is very intolerant of excuses, I always think, well, really, what is the issue? Because this excuse really is not it. So you definitely don't want to make excuses. Making excuses is basically a handicap to your vision. So start thinking of things that you want to do, and instead of making excuses, set a plan on different alternatives on how to accomplish those things. So if you want to go back to work and you say, okay, well, my kids are too young, put in place some alternatives that can help you go back to school. Find a babysitter, talk to relatives, talk to friends, find someone who can help you, accommodate the things that you need so that you can go back to school. Excuses is the #1 most handicapped principle of all. Do not make excuses. The second principle of success is to shift your priorities. Now, we know that there's only 24 hours in a day, and literally you only live in like 12 hours of the 24 hours. So you will have to prioritize things. Some things you just won't be able to get done in one day, maybe not even in 1 week. You really have to set your priorities in order as to what needs to be done. That's very, very important to what can be done maybe tomorrow or at some other point down the line. You definitely want to categorize things and figure out, during your daily activities, what can be done now and what can be done later. So this chart basically helps you categorize your priorities. You want to set some things up that are urgently important, that has to get done right now at this moment. Then you have things that are very important, but they don't. Then you have some things that are urgent, but it's really not that important. It may be time restricting, that you have to respond to something, but you don't really need to do it. And then you have things that are just not, like, really, why are they here? So you definitely want to be able to organize your priorities in at least one of these categories, and then begin to knock them off the list as you go along. So one of the things that may be urgent important may be to complete your FAFSA before, you can enroll into, spring semester. That is urgent because it has deadlines. And if that is one of your goals to go back to school, then you definitely want to put that as one of the urgent and important priorities. But if you're kind of like, okay, what am I going to make for dinner? Well, we know, your kids got to eat, but that's really not that important. You can kind of figure that out, at some other point. It's not something that you have to make a priority to execute, in the same day. So you definitely want to fit, your priorities in at least one of these categories to help you go along and guide your day. And once you get familiar with how to organize your priorities, you probably won't even need this chart after a while, but it's a good tool for now. Separate your time. This is the third principle of success. And when I say separate your time, we know that you want to go out with your, your friends and your family. You have your children, you have to do things for them. You may be in a relationship, your companion, you need to spend time with them. You have all these things that are pulling at you for your time, but you really need to separate the time that you give to others for your personal time. Your personal time is the time that you on what has happened or transpired. It's your time to brainstorm on what you want to do with whatever plan. And it's a time to set goals, to think about some of the things that you want to accomplish within the next day, month, weeks, and so forth. So you definitely want to separate your time from everything else that goes on. And to help with that, you might want to create an agenda. So an example agenda, would be for me, say, for example, outside of being a mom, outside of being a student, outside of even being a business owner, I am an employee. I have a 9-to-5. So I have to factor in all these different things on how to do stuff for my clients, how to get homework done for, my program, how to get my job done throughout the day and still be able to spend time on myself. So, something that could be a typical agenda would be, okay, from 9-to-5 or, 3 or whatever, I'm at work. I do what I have to do to get my paycheck, and then I come home. The kids come home 3 o'clock. I help them with their homework for a couple hours. Cook dinner, whatever that may be. So I'll set family time from 5 to 8. That's just our movie time. Whatever it is that we set, that'll be the designated time for us. 8 o'clock, they're in the bed, and from 8 o'clock on out is my personal time. I reflect on a lot of things. Who I want to reach out to tomorrow, what plans I have in place for the next few days. I'll start to work on my homework. Like, I get a lot of things that I need to, focus on without any distractions during this time. So you may want to definitely start to create that you want to accomplish, and it'll help you definitely organize. So the fourth principle of success is to set goals. Basically, as we said before, you cannot be fulfilled if you don't have anything that's going to fill you up. If you don't have purpose and you don't have desires, then it's not going to motivate you to set goals. So, think about what it is you want to do. Do you want to go back to school? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to expand your business? Do you want to go back to work? You think of things that you want to do and you set them in place as goals. Like, I want to do this. I want to accomplish this. I want to accomplish that. You definitely need to list them and visually see what you're setting yourself up to accomplish. So a typical list would be your bucket list. What would you like to accomplish in 2015? 2014 is practically almost over, and you can always reflect on what you have done in 2014 and always compare it to 2015, but begin to list all the things that you want to do in 2015, not just in the next week or the next month, but throughout the entire year. Do you want to travel? Do you want to teach? Do you want to, start a business? Do you want to, work at this a particular company? You write down all the things that you want to do, and then from there you begin to prioritize what you want and begin to plan on how you accomplish those things to get what you want. The fifth principle is to structure your support. This is very important because if you don't have structure or you don't have a strong foundation, all your goals will fall through. You'll begin to start all these different projects. You'll begin to, work towards all these goals, and you don't have support, and you'll find yourself very disappointed for not accomplishing the things that you that you set out to accomplish. So you definitely want to have a strong support system, and that can include family, counselors, co-workers, instructors, resources, friends, all those things build a network of support for you. So you can talk to your instructor and, let them in on, your situation, and they may be a little bit more lenient as far as, time and, when you're able to get things done. As long as they have an idea that you are really, really motivated to to do whatever it is that you're trying to do, I'm sure in most cases they'll have an understanding way to handle you. Counselors are excellent to give you advice and guidance on working towards your goals. Family, they may be able to watch the kids for you, or, they may be able to, help you in ways that you will need so that you can go and do whatever you have to do. Friends and coworkers as well. One particular thing that I find very, very helpful is, in our program, we have a study group. This is a great support system to help us accomplish what we need to accomplish. We don't ever want to see anyone, dropping out or, failing a class because it's a little too tough. So the study group is a support system that we keep in place so that if anyone is falling down or, is not able to get something done, there's always someone in place to help give information, give resources and advice to, keep them going. So that's another example of a support system, building a study group. And that's it for that you gained some useful information on how to move forward with obtaining your goals and actually executing them. So if I have any questions, you can send them to me on Facebook and I will answer them. Okay, so I have a question from Marion Stevens. She's one of my classmates at Full Sail University. She asks, regarding when you launched your business, what is the best practices you learned? 3 things every startup business owner needs to be aware of. So basically, when I started my business, and I think a lot of new business owners, that create business fall into these things. We have these big expectations and we don't really grasp the full concept of what we're getting into. But what I did was when I started my business, I looked at who inspired me. When I worked at the PR agency in New York, I worked for Marvette Brittle. I watched the way she talked. I watched the way she walked. I watched the way she interacted with her clients. I just really researched every move about her, and I seen what it was that captured the clients and why they always came to her. And I kind of took that in and I brought those skills with me when I started my business. So you definitely want to observe people in the industry that you want to be in. Secondly, I researched the industry that I'm in. I figured out, what do PR people do? Are they the managers? Are they behind the scenes? Are they, in front of the scenes? What exactly do they do? So I watched, again, what the roles of a publicist do. And then I began to, okay, well, let me do this with local people in my city. Let me help you out with PR work. Let me help you do this. And once I built a solid, skill of really knowing what I was doing, then I knew I was able to really help out clients. And then thirdly, you really have to be confident. A lot of times you'll engage in conversations and people say, hey, can you do this for me? And, it's one thing to say you can do it, but you definitely have to have the confidence and the knowledge and skills to actually execute it. I know me, I have like the gift of gab. When it comes to me getting clients, I can literally sell anything, and they're always down to be like, oh yeah, I want you to work for me. And then it always comes a point when once I get that, okay, I'm ready to work, I feel like I'm trapped. Like, okay, now I'm really, really forced to execute what I just said I'm going to do. And only by confidence and really knowing the skills that I have and really having evidence and practice of the skills that I have, that I'm able to really satisfy my clients. So that's always been one of the top 3 things that, I can advise new business owners. Definitely observe people in your industry, research your industry, and be confident. So that's what I can say to that one. Thank you, Marion. See if I have any other questions. So another question that I got basically was, how do I balance, being a mom, a student, an employee, and a business owner? And it seems like a lot, and at times in the day it's a lot, but that's when priorities kick in place. And, you just have to just basically create an agenda. I go to work, like I said, you know, then that's a fixture. That does not change. That's something that you can't change. When the kids come home, I help them with their homework. You know, that's gratefully while they're in the after school program, they get assistance there. So all I do is come home and I just double check it, make sure everything's right. That's a resource that I've acquired that has helped me to move forward with my goals. And then, you know, I set time aside for the children, cooking dinner and things like that. And then I make sure at the end of each night that I am doing something for myself, you know, whether it's relaxing, going to doing homework for school, or working on some campaigns for a client. So I always make sure that there is time available for myself. So, okay. Well, I thank you very much for tuning into my webinar. I hope this information has been extremely helpful for you guys. And if there's any information within this webinar that you can share to a friend or a family member, definitely share this webinar with them. And you can follow me on Facebook at Miss.C.Deal, on Twitter at Faithful PR Girl, and on Instagram at ClassyMarie215. You are invited to live a fulfilled life. Thank you.